Hey folks, I'm Rupali, your host, and welcome back to Crime Hack. On the investigation trail of their childhood friends beat up, Raj and Sandy were ambushed, and Raj had to take a break to recuperate. While Sandy was investigating alone, he got ambushed again but managed to escape somehow. That night, the boys go for a night ride and spot a man installing security cameras in the heart of the city. The boys get suspicious, so they tail him and his accomplice to the outskirts of the city and narrowly escape getting caught spying on the house. And now, Nayak Brothers and the Mystery of the Catacombs Tunnels by Rupali Rajapathe Roti, Part 25. Find anything? Sandy asked. Raj admitted disappointedly. There was nothing suspicious that I could put my finger on. Me neither, Sandy shook his head. But I thought I saw many PCs or TVs in one room. Of course, I couldn't see properly. There was no light in that room. But hell, what does it prove? Nothing. Raj pondered. Well, so that's that, I guess. A sloppy job we did tonight. Now let's go home and catch a few winks and try not to disappoint our friends in the afternoon tomorrow. He looked at his watch and his eyebrows shot up. 3 o'clock already? We must hurry. Reaching home, they soon went to bed and were up at 10:30 in the morning. Oh, we are late. Raj jumped out of his bed, shaking Sandy out of his sleep as well. What? Sandy got up drowsily, but when he saw the time, he also jumped into action instantaneously. It would take them at least half an hour to reach Kathraj from their house. At 11, when they took seats at the dining table for breakfast, they were surprised to see their father at home. I came in late last night, so I'm not expected before noon, their father explained. Sandy seized this opportunity and started. I want to talk to you, Dad. And quickly he recounted the events near Priya's house the day before. So I need a new mobile now, he concluded. You kids have become so dependent on mobiles, Mr. Nayak burst out. Look at us. We have spent our whole lives without such a gadget. We didn't even have a landline for crying out loud. Can't live without them or what? Let me see you survive without it for a while. The topic thus closed. Getting a new mobile was out of the question now. Then their father called Sandy by his side. Talk about focusing on all the unimportant things. Come here. Show me where you're hurt. And he touched his head gingerly. The swelling on Sandy's head had almost gone, and so were the marks on his wrists. You know you kids are playing with fire here? He remarked concernedly. The boys gloomily nodded their agreement, fearing their father would forbid them from following the case any further. Mr. Nayak silently considered them for a long while and then commented, You know, every profession comes with positives and negatives of the trade, and before jumping into the profession of one's choice, one should be aware of and be ready for the challenges. He watched them closely. Are you? And they squirmed under his gaze. We don't know how ready we are, Dad, but we really want to do this, Sandy put in boldly for both of them. Mr. Nayak nodded thoughtfully. I know you two are in good physical shape. You're smart and can really think on your toes. And the boys berated themselves for the good thinking on their toes they had done the night before. Their father continued, You also learn fast and are brave, which is a good thing, but I'm afraid you still have to learn the tricks of your trade. You are naive and quite young. He finished continuing their strengths and weaknesses, and the boys waited anxiously for the verdict. Mr. Nayak looked at their anxious faces, sighed, and then said, Here's what I can do. I can bring you two face to face with one of my colleagues, who is the master of the trade, and who can quench your thirst for knowledge. Mind you, he cannot teach you officially, but if you ask the right questions, you could surely learn something. Oh, Daddy, you are the greatest! Sandy rushed to hug him, and Raj was jubilant. Mr. Nayak then said between bites, "About that boy, Tushar, give me his description and write a complaint before you go. Include his address. You have it, don't you?" "Yes, I do," Sandy replied. "Good. So include his address and the exact events that took place, and hand over that ring you found the other day before you leave. And the picture. I will run the prints over it. Let's see what yields." At 11:25 a.m., the boys bid farewell to their parents and soon took the road to Katraj for the trek to Sinhgarh. Garh or Gad in Marathi or Hindi language means a fort, and Sinha means lion. Once known throughout the state for its magnificent architecture, Sinhgarh Fort had been ravaged by the travails of time and today stands mostly in ruins. It had been a mute witness to a number of battles, the most memorable being that in which Tanaji Malusare, a general in Shivaji's army, had recaptured the fort and laid his life in doing so. In his honor, Shivaji, the strongest king of the Marathas, had renamed the fort from Kondhana to Sinhgarh, saying that the fort had been captured but the lion was lost. Sinhgarh Fort stands perched on a hill at an altitude of approximately 700 meters above the landscape that surrounds it. The height at which the fort stands has resulted in its being a very popular trekking destination among the adventure enthusiasts. Many Punaites go there, some every week. It is also a difficult drive up the steep road, and many people believe that if they can drive up there, they can drive on any road. There are several different ways of reaching Sinhgarh on foot. The longest and the most difficult is the one that starts from Katraj. First-timers are usually advised not to take this route because it tests the stamina, endurance, and resolve of the trekkers. The route from Katraj spans 7 different hills and hillocks over 20 kilometers before merging into the road to Sinhgarh. This route usually takes around 4 to 6 hours in the daytime and 8 hours during a night trek. The trekking parties usually leave from Katraj at night or early morning to avoid the scorching heat. The boys had earlier planned on starting early in the morning to reach Sinhgarh in the afternoon and then start down to reach the bottom before nightfall. But now, since they were to start in the afternoon, there was a change of plans. They would trek up, spend the evening on top, and then take a public transport back home. But since there was no telling when they would be back, the girls had dropped the plan altogether. Now only 7 guys, including the Nayak brothers, were going. The boys were to meet at the main gate of the Katraj Zoological Park. Raj and Sandy were approaching the spot from behind the zoo when Sandy spotted 2 men on a bike driving just ahead of them, and he stiffened. The men in question turned into a by-lane that had 3-storied buildings on both sides, and Sandy followed suit. Raj was sitting behind idly when this happened, and he snapped to attention. "What are you doing?" "Shush! See those men driving ahead of us?" Sandy whispered. "The one sitting behind is Tushar." "Don't tell me." Raj was immediately hooked. "Hey, that's Akash's bike they're riding, isn't it?" Sandy nodded silently. So friends, if you like the story so far, please subscribe, click the bell icon, support the channel, and don't forget to share. You can also challenge us to watch and review your favorite movie, book, or TV show and support us on Patreon so we could shout out your name in the review too. To submit your challenge, please go to www.patreon.com/iicrimehackii. I publish a new episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with bonus content on other days. So keep a lookout. Until next time, keep safe. Namaste.